This game developer insists that no AI was used in their game, but nobody on the internet believes them, even with proof. Let's take a look at this. So this is a situation with game developer Running with Scissors, which is a game dev that was founded in 1996 and has the game series Postal attributed to them. So on December 3rd, they posted this update, writing, "Postal Bullet Paradise is a bullet heaven shooter with online co-op where everything wants you dead and you don't give a damn. Play as one of the dudes from across the Postal series, grab whatever junk passes for a gun, upgrade it, and start solving problems the old-fashioned way," with a link to their Steam. And alongside this, they have also posted a reveal trailer video of sorts, the solid classic. But from people taking a look at the video and the game, people in the comment section have suspected that Gen AI has been used. People are saying, is it too late to cancel this? You guys got scammed. There's AI all over to this. Hate to break it to y'all, but y'all got scammed. I think it's cool you guys share and support the projects and people in your community, but these artworks are AI slop. In response to the scrutiny, Running with Scissors put out a statement. They write, "1. We hear your concerns and we can assure everyone the art in question contained no AI, being as real as crotchiest Jones. This was simply a case of misidentification. We've taken the step of substituting the art ahead of time to keep the focus on the new game announcement. For the curious, please see this video for the old art Photoshop layers." 2. Postal Bullet Paradise is being developed by Goon Swarm Games, a wholly talented team that we at Running with Scissors fully entrust and support as they embody the indie spirit we hold dear. 3. We are proud and excited to publish this upcoming Bullet Heaven FPS and deliver to our long-time beloved fans a wild new entry in the Postal series that delves into its ever-growing multiverse. So let's break down points number 1 and 2 by diving into this. So what is the video in question? It's this unlisted video uploaded by Goon Swarm Games titled "Cancel Key Art Timeline Full Windowed." And what this video is a video of a speed paint of that title thumbnail in question, and then alongside a showcase of the layers. So this is the speed paint in question that has been established. I, by the way, did not know you could do this in Photoshop and kind of like retroactively grab this. Or maybe this was recorded all along. I've animated in Photoshop, but not speed paint stuff. This is cool. But here they go through all the layers. There's 700 of them. But let's slow down the playback speed and watch the speed paint again. Let's pause here. Take a look at what is happening here. We have the line art that's completed alongside the background liner. And of course, you're going to see the line art through the character because it's drawn in a way to be like modular where you can remove the character, the background's complete. It's very standard. But there's shading applied to the face already. There's some color applied to the forehead and there's some like shading applied to the cheek. And then we have textures applied to the back, like crosshatchy textures and a little bit of a green glow. The flat color hasn't even been applied yet. So now we finally start applying the flat colors here. The glasses get rendered and look, more shading is applied without the flat color even being visible. The collar of the coat is now rendered. And the shading is added with no coat color added. Even a rim light, a teal green rim light is added. In fact, the coat's flat color is the last thing to be applied. And then the full teal rim lighting is applied to the head with more shading, with no, again, skin tone or hair color applied yet. And again, the color is applied backwards, where we have the shading applied first and then the flat color applied last. There are some rare instances where artists will work backwards like this, like artists who paint on glass will go backwards to forwards because that's how it shows up properly on the glass when you flip it. But you don't really see people who work digitally drawn this way. And then again, if you take a closer look, more rim lighting is applied with the teal without anything else being rendered. Like the rim lighting is applied to part of like the wall in the toilet without the mirror or the toilet even being rendered in. And then again, everything gets rendered in backwards. So now we have the rendering of the characters in the mirror. Keep a close eye on these because we're going to revisit them later. Again, note the backwards rendering. So here we have the character being drawn, except the eyes are missing. We have the top of the head and we have the bottom of the mouth and nothing in between. And then now the glasses and stuff are added in as a afterthought. Then the lower half of the face gets rendered with like part of the clothing. Clothing shadow is added and then the hair gets rendered with the forehead being filled in last. So then we have the second character, which like kind of immediately appears because I guess there's like, gaps in the speed paints because, it's being sped up. So like frames will be lost here. One ear and the mouth gets rendered. Nothing else again. Just the order of when things are happening is just very strange. Again, we have the bottom half of the face being rendered first, and then the top half. And then we move on to other things. So now the character in the back, this time the sunglasses gets rendered first. Remember the first character we saw, the sunglasses were the last thing to be rendered. Now the sunglasses are drawn in. And then we get the rest of the head. It's just odd because it's not drawn in the same way. So this one is really funky, okay? This one is really funky. We have this. What is this exactly that is first drawn in? Let's take a further look. That is actually like the cape, like the back of the hair / cape of this character. Typically something that's rendered after the head and body, but the head and body gets drawn in last. So yeah, the rest of the characters in the back kind of follow a very similar pattern of like, what the heck is happening back here? And then again, we have textures added on the toilet before the toilet is even rendered in. This is just typically strange because again, for the most part, people will draw with the flat color first and then add shading on top of it. Because how do you know where and what color the shading is gonna be if you don't even know what color the coat is gonna be? So we have this video. And the Photoshop file was also provided. And if you look at the Photoshop file, it is 700 layers, but something's a bit strange in here. Again, these are the characters in the mirror. But if we toggle this layer off, what is this exactly? What is happening here? If you toggle off this character, there's actually another face beneath it that was painted over. And benefit of doubt, part of me was like, okay, what if these are like other assets from this IP that, you know, they legally have the right to use and paint over, and they were just reworking it for this new piece, this new like title screen, I guess. Look at the tongue though. This is not how a tongue looks like. This is like a random piece of salmon sashimi sitting in this guy's mouth. Come on, an artist who can draw like this will not make a tongue look like this. They will make it look like it belongs in this person's mouth. And the teeth, what is happening with the bottom teeth? Sorry, on a complete side note, I just think if we toggle the layers off, and this just looks really suspicious to me, okay? Because everyone draws in their own way. There's 3 layers here. Okay, for this hidden face that we see. And let me toggle the layers above it off so that, you know, there's like other pieces on here as well. Like you can see there's a base of another face here. Do they have the rights to use this art piece, right? Was this like somebody else's artwork at their studio? Maybe. But we have this line art here. Like, what's weird is that, just take a look at it. It literally looks like somebody like cut and paste different pieces of artwork together into one. We have the hair and part of the temple that's on one layer. And then we have like a chunk of face on another layer. And then the ears and part of the face shading. Like, do you see this? It literally looks like there's a cutout of the ear and a cutout of the side of the cheek made here. And then it was filled in on the layer beneath it and not really fully blended in. And then there was a face drawn on top of that. Or some people on the internet are suspecting it was an AI generated image that has been painted over, which is why it looks so choppy. One other thing I find interesting is if you toggle these layers off and you look just at the line art, this line art for a tongue does make sense because it looks more like tongue shape. You know, there's like a divot where there's that crease in the middle of the tongue. And then for some reason, once it gets rendered, it looks like he's licking something. Like, it's just interesting anatomy. And this is what other people on the internet are saying. We have user Jenny MCII writing, "Thanks for the close-up," where they dove into the speed paint as well and found all of these other random layers in it. So they've labeled these like each side of the head has differently cut hair, which, oh, I didn't even notice that. Oh my gosh. Like, the more you look at it, the more you realize there's like weird stuff happening, right? This character's head is shaved with a 0 straight up to the top on one side, and on the other side it's tapered outwards. Then here we have this character with a funky neck. The coat and the hair blend together, which is, you see that in the speed painting. That coat hair thing actually gets rendered first instead of the face. The Postal 1 dude has a full beard, where this is apparently what the Postal 1 dude looks like. There's kind of like a scruff on the chin and nothing else around the upper lip. This is Uncle Dave, and the version in the mirror doesn't look anything like him. Mirror dude Postal 3 with Postal 4 nuke pin. And then more faces. For some strange reason, the artist felt like redrawing 5, 6 of these character face expressions rather than drawing those from the start. And here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different face variations. And Jenny adds, actually, where were these in the speed paint video? And that is right, because if you look at the speed paint video here, right, we see the finished versions here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Remember, all of these characters have their mouths open. If this is a speed paint from start to finish, just like what Jenny is suggesting, where are all the examples of you doing this? Where are the examples of you importing an asset from your game? You know, maybe this character with their mouth closed, right? Because we do have this face here. Where did this guy go? Right? We should have been able to see you import this character in, cut out the ears, draw in other ears, and then finish the face up and then redo the facial expression to match. But why is that not visible? In fact, why is there no instance of you importing this at all? Instead is a very piecemeal version of you painting a character, except the order of how everything is rendered is just backwards. And Explode Clown Nose says, the Photoshop file for the Postal Bullet Paradise promo art includes the original images that were used to make the AI vectorized final images. As well, some of the final shots have crappy AI versions under them. RWS, how does a tongue come out of a closed mouth? And here they have the more fully like fleshed out screenshots of everything. And again, we have all of these other heads. Where did they come from exactly? Again, more piecemeal pieces. And I think this is why the speed paint looks so odd, why it looks like some parts are rendered in a very odd order compared to others. Here we have a side by side. So revisiting Running with Scissors' like statement, they say number 2, it's developed by Goon Swarm Games. Let's take a look at them. This is their website. Madness fuels us, action defines us, emotion drives us. They have a bunch of games. Sin Slayer's Meet and Greet, Sin Slayer's Reign of the Eighth, SCP Control Error. Why do these thumbnails look very AI generated? This one kind of has the little yellowy tint. And again, just because your art has a little bit of a yellow tint doesn't mean you use AI, but we're taking a peep at this, right? This one looks a bit AI generated. And a big one is Sin Slayers. This is one of their promo arts for it. Let's look at the character with red hair. Why does she have 6 fingers on one hand? Come on now. Also, slight little teeny bit of lore drop. I used to shoot archery at a national level in the US. Yippee! There's just a lot wrong with this again, which is why it's like so odd, right? Okay. Sorry to be very nitpicky about this, but if you're going to shoot an arrow off a bow, you do not actually put the arrow between 2 fingers like this on your bow hand, which you see here, okay? Because you pull back like this, and you might think it might make it very accurate. The arrow has feathers to allow it to fly up more accurately through the air, right? As it shoots through your fingers like this, the feathers are going to scrape against your fingers as it comes out. 1, it's going to hurt, and 2, because it's going to pinch between your fingers, it's going to make it really inaccurate. You shoot with the arrow on top of your hands. Like this. And I feel like if reference photos were used, aka it wasn't AI generated, that would have been able to be spotted out. But on a second note, if you're holding the arrow like this in your hands, right? If you were to draw the bow back like this, the way she's holding it is not quite correct. You draw it kind of like this with 3 fingers. But you would see 4 fingers, right? Because my thumb is hidden. But we see 5 fingers. So that's not really helping your case here. Sorry. Sorry to add an arm like that. Okay, I just like doing it. It's funny. That kind of seals the deal for me. So personally, from the looks of it, it looks like this Goon Swarm studio has no qualms using Gen AI in their process. So I wouldn't put it past them. This is my speculation, my tinfoil hat conspiracy theory, to use Gen AI in their production of Postal Bullet Paradise. Clearly, if you've done it before, you would do it again. And here's basically the public sentiment. We have this user writing, I know it's not their fault that this game uses super clearly AI-generated assets, as they didn't make it. It is entirely their fault, though, for partnering up with the studio and greenlighting a project with clearly AI-generated assets, especially in a trailer like this. It's immensely disappointing to see a studio I care about do something like this, and especially with how reckless they've been managing their PR disaster, being cocky a-holes. I get it's your brand, but you should take this seriously. I am curious about your thoughts. Do you guys think Running with Scissors knew that Gen AI was used at some point in this process and are just double and tripling down on it publicly to try to save face to clear up the PR issue? Or do you think they genuinely had no idea, ignorantly greenlit this, not knowing Gen AI was used, and are really, really gung-ho on supporting artists and have defended them to hell and high water because they got scammed? I'm really curious about your thoughts at the end of the day. If you're being optimistic, you can look at it as, you know, hey, like at least really great to see they're trying to defend artists and we love to see they're enthusiastic about it. Unfortunately, they might be wrong because Gen AI was probably used here, but yay for the enthusiasm. One final thing though that I just think is very interesting, and it I guess goes with the theme of their brands, right? Being cocky a-holes, is this. If you go to the Photoshop file they made publicly available, well, Goon Swarm Games made publicly available, the very first layer is one called Raw Sketch, and it's a sketch of a middle finger. And I think that really goes to show the sentiment and the mood and the vibes of all of this. So I would love to hear your thoughts with respect in the comment section down below. So I went to sleep, woke up, and there is now an update from Running with Scissors. And they post on Twitter December 5th, after revealing Postal Bullet Paradise, a title Running with Scissors was planning on publishing but not developing, we've been overwhelmed with negative responses from our concerned Postal community. The strong feedback from them is that elements of the game are very likely AI generated, and thus has caused extreme damage to our brand and company reputation. We've always been, and will always be, transparent with our community. Our trust in the development team is broken, therefore we've killed the project. We have a lot of good things coming. Some of you know and some of you don't. Since forming Running with Scissors in 1996, we've always said our fans are part of the team. Our priority is to always do right by the millions who support the Postal franchise. We are grateful for the opportunity to make the games we want to play, and will continue to focus on our new projects and updates coming in 2026 and beyond. We can't wait to share more. And they add, we'd like, of course, to apologize to anyone who felt insulted in the heat of the moment, and we thank you for raising concerns at this time. For those who specifically sent us death threats, the apology does not apply. And people in the comments are adding, it's good to see you guys responding to this and trying to make amends, but I'm very interested in your response about this. What was this about? And what about all the cocky comments going, you feel stupid now, or nobody got scammed? Were those made out of naivety? And these are messages in Discord from Mike Jarrett, a co-owner of Running with Scissors, writing, if anyone has an AI accusation, just quit the server. They can literally eat my crap. Gotta go BBL. I'll go a step further. The anti-AI mob has ruined art. So another person comments, so when are you guys gonna apologize for or walk back your insults on your own fans for calling this out? And this is a Discord user saying, RWS really using AI for the new game, huh? Greatest fall off of all time. And then we have a user named Zeron responding, and Zeron is their Discord community manager, which is listed on their website. You are an R word for believing we do. And Mike responds, it's literally not. Sorry guys, your wet dream is wrong. Dead effing wrong. And commenters are basically saying, yeah, you know, like, you could have recovered from this. People would have completely sympathized with you guys for being scammed. But the way you guys responded publicly and the way you guys responded to your fans in Discord, like doubling down, calling people R words and stuff like that, is really what is upsetting the public and what is harming your image. Not necessarily the scam itself. And this is just very ironic because on November 27th, Running with Scissors put out this post in reply to Tim Sweeney, Epic Games founder and CEO, where Tim basically says that, you know, AI will be involved in nearly all future game productions, just overall, not speaking on Epic Games specifically. And Running with Scissors quote retweeted that, stating that customers need to know if a game was crafted with creativity, soul, and actual talent, rather than some machine that craps out anything from a prompt. People in the comments are saying that this aged like milk. We have another update. I'm so sorry for the updates, guys. Goon Swarm Games put out a tweet, okay? And just look at this. They read, we've shut down the studio. Our project and everything we built over the past 6 years was canceled in just a few days. Our studio was mistakenly accused of using AI-generated art in our games, and every attempt to clarify our work only escalated the situation. In the last few hours, we've received a large number of threats, insults, and mockery, which pushed us towards a very difficult decision. We're truly sorry for the artists who put their soul into this and supported our studio, only to face false AI accusations. It's tough to pour so much energy into a game and end up caught in the middle of an AI war by accident. We decided to shut down the studio and end all future activities. Thank you for being with us. Stay strong, play games. This is the biggest level of what the F I've ever read. And this top comment with 13,000 likes says, LOL, you shut down after 6 years of work because of a mistaken accusation? What the F? Either this is a lie or you're too fragile for this world. Imagine what would happen if your game received a negative review. And yeah, okay, because this is the thing, right? Like, there's too much hypocrisy in this one statement. If the statement is false and it was a false AI accusation, why did you go and do the absolute nuclear route of shutting down your entire studio? That makes no sense. Or admit you were wrong, admit you goofed and AI was used. Whoops. This is the biggest, like, haters, like, you guys won, I'm done with this. From a game studio. I'm sorry, I'm just laughing because this is like wild. And they changed their bio to say canceled, support goonswarm.games. And then they have a new update, okay? This was yesterday, so like less than 24 hours ago. Dear gamers, we want to start with a sincere apology to everyone affected by the situation. The community, our partners, and especially the artists who supported us. The last few days have been overwhelming. As a small studio suddenly pushed into the spotlight, we reacted emotionally and defensively. The accusations came as a shock, and we needed time to breathe, look at everything calmly, and understand what truly happened. After taking that time and conducting an internal review, we agree with your criticism. The promo art does appear to include or be influenced by AI-generated material. We collaborated with external artists for years and never saw any signs of this. The layered photoshops always look legitimate within our internal pipeline, which is why our initial reaction was to protect our team and defend our innocence. We understand now that your concerns were valid, and we take responsibility for not catching this earlier. We also want to stress that this issue relates only to the promo art and doesn't concern the real artists who worked on gameplay visuals, assets, and other content. Many of them have nothing to do with the situation, yet have been receiving threats, harassment, and hatred. This is deeply unfair, and we hope this message helps protect them. Their work is real, and it deserves respect. We previously announced the closure of the studio, but even in this state, we feel responsible for the outcome. As far as our remaining resources allow, we will replace all disputed promo art across our projects with pieces created entirely by human artists. It will take time, but we will do it. We again apologize to everyone who is harmed or affected by the situation. We never intended to mislead anyone, and our earlier statements reflected what we honestly believed at the moment. So this is wild. They owned up to it. They admitted it. Like, are they still gonna shut the studio down? Like, that is such an emotional reaction to it. And people in the comment section aren't believing it. People are saying, sounds like you were using AI and got caught. No one closes down a studio like that fast otherwise. Somebody commented with like 400 something likes, is the studio run by 12-year-olds? It's just funny. If this is a situation where Goon Swarm, their name is like a tongue twister, Games, was deceived by external artists, that sucks. But people in the comments are also saying, hold up, so you've been doing this for 6 years and you couldn't tell when the art was legitimate and when the art wasn't? It's a bit concerning. But I do think this is just a further lesson on just PR. Basically, all parties involved made themselves look really, really dumb in this situation, both Running with Scissors and Goon Swarm Games, just due to the way they publicly reacted to the situation, right? This whole thing was already like bad, but it would have blown over in a little bit. People might just give you some sympathy and be like, oh, maybe you got scammed by some outside people. And then there's always going to be the people that are going to leave dumb comments, but it will be like that. And then it would have blown over. But the public reaction from both groups just blew this out of the water and just made it way worse than it needed to be. So I mean, we have our conclusion. AI was used like we all thought. So I'm just curious though, what was your thoughts? Did you, going through this, did you think it was AI? Did you think it was not? Now we basically have it confirmed. So I would love to hear your thoughts. And if you like this video, I appreciate it if you like and subscribe. I started filming this video in Tokyo and I ended this video in Kyoto, which is why the background stuff is all changing. So thank you for bearing with me through that. But check me out on Etsy. I have digital art there for streamers and creators. I have a coffee with free resources and I'm trying to get my Instagram to 100K. I also stream on Twitch 3 days a week, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays at 6 p.m. PST. So I hope to catch y'all there or in another video. Peace.